Hello, everyone. This is Gail, aka Sunshine. Today we have Yvonne Rawleigh joining us around the campfire. June is Uterine Cancer Awareness Month, and we're honored to have Yvonne join us and share her story and perspective as a uterine cancer survivor. So, Yvonne, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, what I'd like to start with is just for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, things like that.
Okay. I'm born and raised in Maryland. I'm 63 years old. My dream was to own a horse and have it in my backyard. I used to be a food safety consultant for 25 years. I had a business doing that. Um, and now I do have my hobby farm with three horses and three goats.
Oh, my.
And so I had my dream come true, where most people are retiring and say, I'm spending my husband's money now.
Well, I was going to ask you for one fun fact. You've just given me several, but can you give me a fun fact on top of all of those fun things?
um, you know, I really don't. I think I probably gave you my fun facts in the introduction.
Well, the
Those,
fact that
that's
you
what
have horses and you're living your dream, that's fun. That's amazing.
I didn't. Well, I guess the fun fact is I was afraid of horses. And that is why I wanted to go get lessons. I was 44 and I went to get lessons and wound up buying a horse that day.
Oh, gosh. All right. I love it. Embracing your fear and moving through it rather quickly.
Yeah. Yes.
So, the reason we're here, obviously, is it's Uterine Cancer Awareness Month and you're a survivor. So, I'd like to hear a little bit about your diagnosis story, when you were diagnosed, how you found out, briefly, like treatment, surgery, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So for the uterine cancer.
Yes. Well, your whole story, but uterine
Okay.
cancer as well.
In
Yes.
particular. So
Yeah.
I'll start in 2009. I was diagnosed with stage 3B breast cancer. And the I had what do you call it, double mastectomy, and then I had chemotherapy and then radiation and lots of reconstructive surgeries.
Yeah.
And then in 2019, I had to write some of this down. In 2019, I was diagnosed with uterine cancer.
So 10 years. That's a 10-year gap. Am I
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And it was a surprise, as you
I'm
can
sure.
imagine. And, but I didn't ignore a symptom that I'm so glad I didn't. I have so many friends that do.
Mm,
I had been put in menopause by the chemotherapy for breast cancer at 46.
mhm.
So one day in that fall, I had a little tiny spot, pinkish,
Wow.
that's it. And already having one cancer, I was very cautious. So I called
Yeah.
my doctor. He got me right in. Um, he was sure it was not cancer. And
Ah,
yeah, he's like, well, that's actually even during, and he did a biopsy. And during the
mhm.
biopsy, he said it didn't look like cancer.
Wow.
So when the biopsy came back, he called me one day when I was working and said, it's cancer. It's
Wow.
uterine cancer. Now, uterine cancer is kind of an umbrella for multiple different kinds of
Mhm.
gynecological cancers.
Right.
So mine was the most rare, the sarcoma.
Okay.
But because I did that, we called it stage 1, which is very
Perfect. Yeah.
not normal. And it was the most aggressive. So
Mm,
I had the radical hysterectomy,
mhm.
no lymph nodes involved.
Good.
And I did the robotic for the hysterectomy, robotic surgery.
Crazy that they
Yeah,
can do that.
I know. When I read about it afterwards, I didn't look into it
Yeah,
as much as
before
I
it.
should have. Um, I kind of wish I had done the open. That's just for
Hmm.
myself,
Yeah.
because they did find cancer on my fallopian tubes and my ovaries, but it was the uterine cancer.
It
So
had already spread.
well, it hadn't spread. What they determined was when the robot was pulling it through, it picked up the cancer from the uterine cancer. So it took a while to get that answer. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So now you know why I would.
Yeah, that makes
Hindsight's always,
that
2020.
makes sense. Did you end up having to do treatment for the uterine cancer, or did they get it all through surgery?
Well, I had to do radiation
Okay.
because the type of the sarcoma that I have is only like 5 to 10% of uterine cancer.
Wow.
And he didn't want to take any chances, but they didn't want me to have to go through chemo yet again.
Yeah,
So,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yep.
Wow. And
And
now,
now I have not had any reoccurrences
awesome.
of the uterine cancer. None.
And none from the breast cancer either.
None from the breast cancer. Now, the next cancer I had
Oh gosh. Your
is
bingo card is full, unfortunately.
is cholangiocarcinoma. That was in
And what is that?
2021. It's bile duct cancer,
Okay.
but it's commonly known and affects your bile ducts, gallbladder, liver, and pancreas.
Okay.
It's rare, a rare cancer. I seem to get in a small percentages
It
a lot
sounds
of
like
times. Yeah. So what happened was they couldn't determine what kind of cancer it was. So I
really.
had to go through a lot. I
Uh,
one of my horses saved me. They threw
oh.
me, and I wound up on the driveway. And I was in ICU for a week, but that's when my cancer was found.
Wow.
However, I do want, and you'll see later on, my biggest thing is advocate for yourself, because when they sent me home, they didn't tell me about the lesions they found. They never said a word, not one doctor in ICU, but it was clearly on the scan.
Oh my gosh.
Because I had so much internal damage from the horse throwing me,
Oh,
I took my care over. So I
yeah.
went to a doctor, and my husband and I, a nephrologist, because my kidney was lacerated.
Mm.
And as we're putting our coats on to leave, he just happens to mention, what have they said about these lesions? Do they know what they are? And we both looked at each other and like, what are you talking about?
Oh
Nobody ever
gosh.
told us. Yeah. So
Wow.
that
So
was,
when was this, and did you do treatment for that?
oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
actually, that was September 26th, 2019.
Oh,
That
so
was,
quickly after.
yes, December 26th, 2019. So I had been in the hospital and went through several months where they told me, let's follow it,
Yeah.
because it just wasn't clear to them what type of cancer, and they couldn't find the original tumor.
Oh gosh.
So I went in and they did a biopsy. I was asleep for that, so, completely under for
Yeah.
that one. And it, they still didn't know what it was. It was quite an
Mm.
adventure. But what happened was I found the surgery. I don't know, some people might be familiar with it. I had four opinions, by the way, went for four opinions. And the same thing with breast cancer. I wasn't going to
Mm.
just go with the first.
Hmm.
And the last opinion, and that's a long story and such a miracle, um, that surgeon does HIPEC surgery. I don't know if you're aware of what
Mm-mm.
that is. HIPEC is where they go in and do debulking, it's called, or CRS,
Yeah.
and remove everything they can. And then after that, while you're still under it, they, with two pumps, and I'm also, this can be for uterine cancer also,
Mm.
if anyone has
Oh,
spread.
this
Yes,
procedure,
this
you mean?
procedure.
Okay.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
It's not popular. It's
Mm.
not popular among some doctors. A lot of
Mm.
hospitals don't do it.
Mm.
But the surgeon that I had is one of the original people that learned from the
Wow.
person that came up with it. So they pump hot chemo in you,
Wow.
and you're open from your sternum down to your private parts, obviously under lots of
Under a lot of
anesthesia.
anesthesia. Yeah.
And for 90 minutes, they pump the hot chemo
Wow.
in and out, in and out. And what it does is it goes after microscopic cancer cells that might have
Yeah.
escaped, or that they couldn't see.
Yeah.
And your organs, and it's pretty much just for abdominal cancers. Ovarian
Right.
cancer now is becoming very popular
Hmm.
with it. And now uterus cancer, they're starting to use it for that.
Wow.
So that surgery was, they call it MOAS, mother of all surgeries, supposedly one of the worst.
That makes
But
sense.
I got through it. Um, he got 19 tumors out in my
Wow.
abdomen. I lost quite a bit of insides,
Yeah.
but then I did chemotherapy after
Yeah.
that
Real,
surgery.
like regular in the
It's
chair.
called FOLFOX.
Yeah.
It's just a regimen that they
Yeah.
used. It's like 4 different chemos.
Wow.
Yes.
So when did you finish all of this? So has it
I'm not
been,
I'm
you're
not
still
finished.
not finished. Okay.
It was stage 4.
Okay.
So I went for 18 months without any reoccurrence. And the
Yeah.
doctors were thrilled, and I was thrilled.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised this November
Mm.
when they did my
Just a
scan.
few months, like just a
Mhm.
few months ago. Ugh.
When they called me about the scan, I was shocked because I thought
Yeah.
for sure I had made it out.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
so blessed. I'm so blessed because the first reoccurrence was easy to get to. It was a lymph node under my armpit and one in my groin.
Yeah.
Very easy to surgically remove.
Mhm.
So then I got another 18 months, which takes us to November, just
Okay.
passed.
Okay.
And it was, again, I'm so blessed because it's right in my groin and they could get to it very easily, and I had radiation. So
Good.
right now we're just waiting for the next scan to see if the radiation worked.
Wow. And these have been reoccurrences not of the uterine, but of the
Oh,
last
right.
one,
Now
the
the
bottom. Okay.
doctors, well, some of the doctors will not agree with that, but they sent once they took the tumors out, they sent them to MD Anderson for the
Yeah.
molecular testing. And that's when we found out it was not uterine, it was
Okay.
cholangiocarcinoma. None
Okay.
of my cancers are genetic. I've been genetically tested multiple
Yep.
times. None of them are related. So
Wow.
it's
That's crazy.
luck of the draw, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you have a great attitude. I mean, to see that despite all of this, that you can see the blessing in it
Yeah.
is
I've
something.
had miracles. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Wow.
God has put miracles in my life.
That's
Yeah.
well, that's amazing. I want to go a little bit deeper into the uterine cancer just
Yes.
because
Yes.
of the month. So, what physical, emotional, mental challenges came out of that particular diagnosis and treatment, kind of everything that went with
Um,
that? And I'm
um,
curious if you can specify, like, how was it different from, since you have two to compare it to, from the breast cancer or for the later one?
so the breast cancer, I had symptoms and ignored them. I didn't
Okay.
think it was anything. Um, it was my nipple was being pulled in, just a dimple, just a
Wow.
dimple. So I finally made an appointment, and it had gone to stage 3B.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's also, I seem to be a person that lives in the low percentages because it was lobular breast cancer,
Mm.
and that only accounts for 14% of breast cancers. So, when the uterine came, I went to the radiologist so that because they were going to do radiation, and we were talking, and he was not very optimistic because
Huh.
uterine carcinoma, I'm sorry, sarcoma, is again very rare,
Yeah.
and the prognosis is usually extremely poor.
Hmm.
But because I went in for that one day of the tiny pink on my panties,
Yeah.
they found
You're
it.
still here.
I'm
Yeah.
still
I
here,
mean,
and it
yeah.
was stage one. Was
Wow.
stage one, but it was the aggressiveness was the most aggressive it could be. So
Yeah.
we really got it early.
Okay.
Emotionally, I could not believe it. I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm sure.
like, how many people do I know that had 2 cancers? Very few, very few.
Yeah.
So physically, it was not very hard to get over
Mm.
the surgery. The
Yeah.
radiation was very trying. It
Yeah. I'm
was
sure.
28 days of
Wow.
radiation. But emotionally, I was a mess. I mean, I just couldn't imagine because the radiologist was telling me the odds. And
Okay, so that was what it was. It
yeah,
wasn't so much that you had had a second kind of cancer, it was the odds they were giving you
right,
at that
right.
time.
And the
Okay,
prognosis,
and the
yes.
prognosis, right. I can understand that.
So that was scary, very
Oh, I'm
scary.
sure.
I went into a deep depression and went on an
Mhm.
antidepressant. I had to because I couldn't function
Yeah,
emotionally. It was just too much to handle.
yeah.
And my children, well, who are now grown adults, their whole life since the youngest was 5 has been a mom with cancer. Or is
Wow.
it going to come back?
Right.
A mom wondering, is it going to
Mhm.
come back? So I did a lot of research, and that's when I found the most common uterine cancer, which most people will have, is the endometrial.
Mhm.
That's, if I remember statistically, it's like 80%. And there
Yeah,
are different endometrial cancers they all fall under the umbrella of uterine cancer.
right.
So when people say they had endometrial cancer, they've actually had a uterine cancer.
Mhm.
Mine did not look anything like it. It didn't, and that's why the gynecologist didn't think it was anything.
Yeah,
And it was very
and it was.
scary. It was
Yeah, I
very,
imagine.
yes,
So, I mean, you had another kind of cancer after this.
yes.
Did you find that as emotionally trying, or was it worse with the uterine cancer because of the prognosis they were giving you?
Well, when they did, when I talked, so you get a lot of different doctors when you
Yes.
have this any
Yeah.
cancer. And when I went back and talked with the actual uterine oncology gentleman that did the robotic surgery,
Mhm.
he seemed to think that they would be able to take care of it because
Mm.
he saw and felt it was very early.
Yeah,
And it was stage 1, no lymph nodes
yeah,
involved or
right.
anything. So a lot of uterine cancers and endometrial uh,
Mhm.
are just so aggressive and move so quickly. The
Yeah,
lymph nodes can be involved,
involved. Exactly.
and mine were not. Mine were not. So I
Wow.
was so
Yeah,
blessed,
yeah,
so blessed.
definitely. Wow.
Yeah.
How did you cope with each new diagnosis? I mean, we've talked about it a little, but I'm wondering if you can, one, talk about coping and how your coping process evolved over time since you've unfortunately had the opportunity to practice, right?
Right.
Coping
Right.
with
So for
different cancers.
me, and I hope it is okay if I mention my spiritual life.
Oh,
Some
sure.
people,
Go for
some
it.
people
Yes.
don't,
We
think
want you
they have.
to,
But
we
for
want to know
me,
exactly how you did
yeah,
it. Yeah.
for the breast cancer, my kids were so young, and I had they gave me because I was so young, they gave me 8 months of chemo in 4 months. And it
Oh
was
my
really
gosh.
hard, but I got through it just fine. I mean, they're like,
Wow.
you flew through this. This is amazing that it's worked so
Yeah.
well. So I was scared,
Mhm.
but I just would pray and hang on to that hope that I could be healed, or that God
Yeah.
had more plans for me to be here,
Yeah.
especially because my kids were so young. They were 5, 8, and 10. So two
Wow.
boys and then a little
Okay.
girl. And I'll never forget the day that we sat down on the bed as a family so we could tell the kids, and
Yeah.
each one's reaction was so different. My oldest son at the time was 10. He knew what cancer meant. He was very upset. My middle
Yeah.
son didn't want to be bothered. I said to him, I said to them, I'm going to survive this. And he said to this day, when I said that, he took it as that's how it was going to be. So he
Wow.
didn't worry. My little girl was a different story.
Yeah.
She was devastated, and that took a while to get her to be over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the uterine cancer, I'll never forget when I picked her up. At that time, she was a senior in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, and I started my radiation for uterine cancer the day that basically the country shut down for COVID.
Oh gosh.
So they were home, and I
Yeah.
had so much time to spend with them. And again, I was just so blessed. I mean,
Yeah.
COVID was not a blessing, but to be able to be at home with your
Right.
family was
Exactly.
a blessing.
Yeah.
So by that time, I had started an antidepressant because I needed one.
Yeah.
But then by the time it was over and they were doing some scans and it was always coming back clean, I just believed that I was going to survive it. And I fought it and I'm going to be okay. Now that doesn't mean it was every day. I have friends
Yeah.
that like, I can't believe how positive you are. I'm like, oh, believe me,
Yeah.
there were days that I
Right.
just lost it, but I
Yeah.
would do it with, in the privacy with my husband or a
Yeah.
friend or something.
Yeah.
So it's emotionally a roller coaster,
It
up
is.
and down, up and down. One doctor telling you this, another doctor telling you that, another one saying, no, you should have chemo. And I just,
And it's so hard to know who to trust, because if you go to Dr. Google, you're going to get,
yes,
you can't trust
yes.
that either.
I
And
did
so that
Dr.
is,
Google, and
which
that
is
was
not a good idea.
not a good idea. It did not have promises in there
No,
or wasn't positive at all.
no.
Because the reality is endometrial/uterine cancer tends to have no symptoms and it spreads.
Yeah.
And
That's exactly the problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a big problem.
Yeah.
So my message for that would be, oh my goodness, don't ever
Yeah.
ignore
Wait.
any weird thing that happens to your body.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, that's true of any cancer, but for uterine, being that this is Uterine Cancer Awareness Month,
Yes. Yes.
if you have a spot, if you have any weird things, please get them checked out. Yeah,
Right,
for
right. So
sure.
when my third cancer came, I was sure it was uterine cancer,
That had come
metastasized.
back. Yeah.
I could not even imagine that. We didn't know from September 2019 until March 2020 what cancer it was.
That's crazy.
The third one,
The
I
third
mean,
one, right.
the
Yeah.
bile duct cancer is the common name
Right.
for it, until they went in, did that high PEC procedure and
Yeah.
sent, and the CRS, the debulking, and they sent the tumors to MD Anderson. I think I already
Right.
said that. And
Yeah.
now the ones that came back, and it was a
Wow.
different cancer. Yeah.
So you have had a lot of practice again,
Yes.
and you've
Yes.
already alluded to the biggest lesson you learned, which is
Yes.
advocating for yourself. And
All
I'm
the
wondering if you
time.
can talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. I would love to. The reason that I say that is, well, during breast cancer, it was amazing. Like, the hospital that I went to, you were there for one day and every doctor would come in, the oncologist, the surgeon, the radiologist, the plastic surgeon. And it was like a day of all the appointments. So
Oh my
everything
gosh.
was compact and it was really felt good to be able to do that. Now
Yeah.
they have, I think they call them tumor boards.
Yeah.
And the people are not present. I was not present for my tumor board for
Yeah.
uterine cancer.
Yeah.
And the doctor, and again, I'm not bashing doctors by any means, but this gentleman told me he didn't take any lymph nodes because I requested not to have lymph nodes taken. And that was not factual at all. And he actually hung up on me when I
Mm.
pushed back.
Yeah.
He actually hung up on me. So the director of the
Mm.
department called me the next day and said, well, we're going to look. He's now saying he thinks he took one. And they said that they found a lymph node in the lab that was mine.
Oh,
You can
gosh.
imagine that I was a little like, is that really
Yeah.
my lymph nodes?
Yeah, really. That's a little
Right. And
okay.
it was a little suspect. So that was my first big teaching. And
Yeah.
I switched
Yeah. Yeah.
uterine doctors right away,
Yeah.
oncologists or surgical oncologists or GY for uterine, like
Right.
uterine cancer. The new gentleman was in the same department and the same hospital, but
Mm.
he was much more explain things and I felt comfortable with him. It
Yeah.
was, to me, it was already too late to go get my 4. I didn't do as many um, different doctor visits or opinions as I had done with the breast
Yeah.
cancer. And I just kind of went with what my GYN said. And the thing that's kind of crazy is this is a
Mm.
doctor that in our state has been voted many times top doc
Mm.
for the robotic cancer.
Yeah.
So I didn't question it. I thought, well, he's in the magazines, he's in the newspapers, he must
Yeah.
be good. And for me, it didn't work out
Yeah.
because I
Well,
was not
and
thrilled.
good for you to still advocate for yourself, even
Yes,
though he came with all these credentials, because
yes,
that's part of it is you have to find the right doctor for you, right?
yes,
And only you
yes.
know
And be
that.
comfortable with that
Exactly.
doctor. Yeah,
Yeah.
be comfortable. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Did you learn so in terms of advocacy, was there another big moment at any point where you think,
there
yes,
was, but it was with the bile duct. Is it
that's
okay
okay.
if we,
Yeah.
okay, the
I think
bile duct?
advocacy is an important point. Yeah.
So the uterine oncologist who was doing my uterine, I was going back
Right.
regularly to see him. He thought it was uterine, and he was going to go in and do the CRS, which is basic. I think the letters are right. Debulking is
Yeah.
another name for it. And he was going to go in and do the debulking, and it just wasn't sitting well with
Hmm.
me. And I can't tell you why, except by this time, I had really increased my spiritual life. I
Yeah.
mean, really. And
Yeah.
praying was a thing, and please
Hmm.
guide me. And
Yeah.
like I said, another miracle. My breast cancer oncologist just fell in love with me, and she was calling me, and she said, because she was at a different hospital, she's like, I want to be your cheerleader. So I'm
Wow.
like, I'll take any cheerleading I can do.
Yes.
So we just kind of we get together occasionally and talk about what's going
Yeah.
on. Well, one Sunday night, I was supposed to have the surgery for the bile duct cancer. I mean, for what they thought was uterine cancer that Tuesday,
Right.
the debulking. And the woman that had started going to therapy, because after two cancers, I
Gotcha.
needed therapy. I needed
As one
something to keep
does.
me
Yes.
grounded. Yeah, something to keep me grounded. And I just love this woman. Again, we just
Yeah.
clicked. And
Yeah.
she called me and she said, I have a patient that has stage 4 cancer, which we knew it was
Yeah.
because it was the PET scan lit up all over
Right.
my abdomen. And she said, would you be willing to talk to her if I gave you her number? And I
Hmm.
said, absolutely. And I called her that night and I was telling her my story. She had a different cancer that is not a lot of treatment for it, melanoma.
Yeah.
Melanoma is a really tough cancer because it doesn't
Yeah.
react to chemo at all. So we were talking, and as we're getting ready to hang up, and again, she said, well, why aren't they doing hot chemo on you? And I'm like, I perked up because
Hot chemo.
I was looking, I didn't find anything about that on the
Yeah.
internet for this. And and so the next morning I called my breast cancer oncologist and I said, doctor, what is this?
Yeah.
She said, well, it's not real popular. We don't do it here, but I taught a gentleman. She was the professor for the doctor when he was in um, medical school.
Yeah.
And I know he left our hospital to go to a hospital that would invest in what they needed to do, the hot chemo or HIPEC, HIPEC. And so, of course, I called my uterine doctor, and he was pretty mad. He's like, well, if you want to go that route, it's going to be 2 or 3 months. And that really
Mm.
deflated me. But
Yeah.
I called the doctor that my
Hmm.
breast cancer, I found him. She didn't
Yeah.
even know where he was. So I found him and I called on Wednesday, and his surgical scheduler is like, I'm so sorry. He's leaving for his home country of Colombia for 2 weeks. He can't see you.
Oh,
So I hung up and I just started melting down and the phone
yeah.
rang again. Well, that doctor heard her and he said, if you can be in 7 o'clock Friday morning before my flight, I will see you.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm telling you, the miracles that have happened,
That
I'm
is.
so blessed. And then within 2 weeks, I was in surgery. So
Wow.
it wasn't a 2 or 3 month wait,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
other doctor
Like
had
the other
said.
doctor
So
said.
I don't see him anymore either
Yeah.
because it
Well,
wasn't accurate.
I mean, and this is all because you took charge.
Yes, I
You
took
took
charge.
the responsibility of finding the name of this doctor, of then
Yes,
calling him and all of that.
yes. And when we went
Yeah.
in, he had already gotten my information from the other hospital, which I was shocked because they always
Wow.
tell you, oh, it's going to take us out like 2 or 3 weeks to get your scans. What was 2 days later, and he had everything. So
Wow.
he said, you're the perfect candidate. He said, the only thing is, I don't know which chemo to give you because we don't know which
Oh,
cancer
because we
it
don't
is.
know what kind. Oh,
Right.
gosh.
I don't think he was convinced we were talking uterine
About uterine
cancer.
cancer.
I'm pretty sure from it wasn't said, but I got that
Yeah.
feeling. So he just
Wow.
used the strongest there is. And I'm sure you've heard of the red devil
I
before.
have heard of the red devil.
Okay, I
Yes.
had the red devil for breast cancer, and that's what he used for me inside, which basically would pretty much cover a lot of
Everything.
cancers.
Yeah.
And so that's what he
Okay.
did. Yeah.
Wow. That
And
is an excellent story of advocating for yourself. I mean, that is amazing.
and I have
Um,
another story, but we're probably don't have enough time
yeah,
for it.
what I'd like to ask is if there's anything else that I haven't specifically asked you about that you would like to share with someone listening, whether it
So
has to do any part of your journey. I'm wondering if you have anything.
yes. So when I found my doctor, I had already had 3 opinions. I went to Johns Hopkins, I went to George Washington, I think it's called in DC, and then 2 other hospitals. And I won't mention them because that's the doc where the doctors worked.
Right.
And they all were of the same opinion except for the one doctor
Mhm.
that did the HIPEC. And if I hadn't done that,
Wow.
and I actually had the breast cancer oncologist, whom I loved, tell me I needed to stop getting opinions because I'm mucking up the waters. And I'm like, no, no, I'll muck up the waters until I
Yeah.
find out what I
Yeah,
want to know.
exactly.
Yeah. And it's just so important. A lot of people, and again, I'm not bashing doctors, they're amazing doctors, they're keeping us
Right.
alive. But
Right.
some doctors, you know, they they don't want to hear everybody says how great it is to get a second opinion, and if a doctor's a good doctor they'll understand. That's hard to find.
Yeah.
It's hard to find.
Well, and it sounds like your message is don't be afraid to muck up the waters.
Don't be afraid to muck the waters, and just because the doctor says it, it's not
Gospel
Bible,
truth. Yep.
it's not 100%.
Yeah.
And you need, and even to today, you
Yeah.
could probably go to 1,000 doctors and 700 of them will tell you don't do HIPEC, it doesn't work. But it does because I'm more than 4 years out. The prognosis for the bile duct cancer was 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
And here I am over 4 years later.
That's incredible. Well, good for you for listening to yourself and for mucking up the waters.
And listen to your gut. I mean, don't be
Yeah.
afraid to speak up. So many people
Yeah.
are afraid to speak up to doctors. Like
Yeah.
I had an aunt that had a lump and she wasn't going to get another opinion. I dragged her for a second opinion.
Yeah.
And she stayed with the initial, but that's okay. They found what they needed to, and
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, the way I always end is a very important question about
Okay.
marshmallows.
Okay.
Marshmallows over a campfire, slow and steady, or flame and crispy?
I don't think anybody will be surprised to hear me say flame and crispy.
Crispy. That's awesome. Yes, you get that nice crisp outside. Well, Yvonne, thank you so much. This has
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure. I'm so glad we were able to have you on for Uterine Cancer Awareness Month
Yes.
because you provided a lot of insight
Thank
through your
you.
whole cancer journey, all the different aspects of it. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
And to those of you who are listening, until the next time we gather around the campfire, keep living beyond cancer.